Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I am Jason Monroe. This is episode 95. Today we are talking about, this is a great topic, why exercise alone won't lead to fat loss. We've kind of touched on this over the last few episodes or so. I don't know why, but the term abs are made in the kitchen is sticking in my head. I don't know why, but it's that kind of idea. So look, the easiest way to explain this is this, right? There are people who will exercise to lose weight. They'll change nothing else. They will just try to exercise in the hope that exercise will overtake their poor diet. Now, think of it this way, right? There are many people who just believe that exercising alone is going to be enough to help them lose weight. They believe that all you need to do is start exercising to make your weight come down. You don't need to do anything else, which isn't true, of course. And the way to try and help with that is if you can achieve multiple things while doing something, that thing isn't going to help you achieve just one of them. So what I mean by that is there are people who exercise and lose weight. There are people who exercise and maintain their weight. And there are also people who exercise and gain weight. Now, if your weight can do whatever it wants to do while exercising, how can exercise be a solution to your weight? Now, I can't remember which episode it was. Fad diets, all or nothing mindset. I can't remember. But whatever one it was, where I spoke about how exercise isn't for your weight, like that's why. Because let's go back to 2016 Jason, who had just joined Bannatyne's gym in Falkirk and went into the gym, ran on a treadmill because he was too nervous to go near the weights, because not that I hadn't ever lifted weights before. I've been going to the gym on and off for years, but this was a new gym. All the big fucking steroid juiced up guys were down at the free weights section, and I was very nervy and like, I don't really want to go down there. So I would just go on the treadmill and run for an hour and burn 300 or 400 calories, and then come out and then go for a sauna, go for a steam room, get a shower and changed, and then go to McDonald's. And in my mind, it's like, well, I've just been to the gym, so I'm just going to go straight across this retail park, jump into McDonald's, and I'll get a large Big Mac meal with fries and a drink at 800 calories. So that's a perfect example of how someone can go to the gym and gain weight. I went to the gym and burned 300 calories, and I went and had an 800 calorie dinner. That gives me a net gain of 500 calories. I think the other thing is that people drastically overestimate the amount of calories they burn in the gym. Not their fault. They've got stupid machines telling them they're burning hundreds, sometimes thousands of calories. They've got instructors and classes telling them that every spin class helps you burn 600 calories and nonsense like this. Even lifting weights. Do you know, here's a little tip for people who aren't working with me and who might try and calculate their calories by themselves. When you're tracking exercise, and I get this a lot because of the way that I calculate people's calories, is I'll get people to explain to me what they do for exercise. So it's like, they'll put in 3 hours of moderate exercise, and then in the explanation they'll be like, yeah, I lift weights 3 times a week. Now, for you to be doing 3 hours of lifting weights, right, you would need to go to the gym and lift weights non-stop. If you're going 3 times, like if you're going to lift weights for an hour, you would have to go to the gym for 3 hours, and you would have to do a ridiculously long workout program, because the exercise part is the part where you are lying down or sitting or standing and you're doing the repetition. So let's say you're doing a bench press. You're lying on your back, the bench is down, the bar's down, the bar's up, the bar's down, the bar's up. That's the exercise part. You don't do that for 60 minutes. You do it for about 20 minutes, because the rest of the time you spend going to the toilet, drinking water, checking your phone, having 2 or 3 minute rest periods, taking weights off, putting weights on, walking back and forth to machines. 60 minutes in the gym, just talking about lifting weights here, right? If you're someone who weight resistance trains, 60 minutes in the gym is not 60 minutes of exercise. 60 minutes in the gym, you will find, is about 20 minutes of exercise, 20, 25 minutes, roughly. I can't remember what it was, but I stopped tracking workouts because it was just stupid. My Garmin's not very good at it because it tries to count reps and stuff. But at the end of an hour session, it would tell you what your activity, I think it's activity time. And it was like 18, 19, 20 minutes of actual repetitions. So this is how people overestimate their calories so easily when it comes to lifting weights, because they say, well, I walk into the gym at 5 p.m. and I come out at 6 p.m. I did 1 hour of weights. It's like, no, you did 20 minutes of weights. So people who think they're lifting weights for 3 hours a week are probably only doing it for an hour. And this is how people overestimate their calories. They go on to calorie calculators. They put in, okay, 3 hours of exercise. What are you doing? Lifting weights. Awesome. So that's 180 minutes of nonstop weightlifting. That's what it adds on to your calorie burn. And listen, lifting weights burns hardly any calories. Like, you don't do it to burn calories. You do it to build muscles that will one day burn more calories, but you do it for all the health benefits. It's not for your weight. It's not to burn calories. It's definitely not to help you create a calorie deficit. A 60-minute session, you might burn 150, 200 calories. Because, like I said, you're only doing stuff for 20 minutes of that hour. So lifting weights is not a massive calorie burner. As I have now realized, you cannot walk out of the gym after burning 200 calories and somehow that justifies an 800 calorie McDonald's. And then you wonder why you're doing all this exercise and all this stuff and your weight's going up the way. So this is why we say that, like, exercise alone will not help you lose weight. In fact, exercise alone can help you gain weight. I mean, that's what I did. Exercise alone helped me gain weight because I created this idea, which I now realize is ridiculous, and you may now realize is ridiculous, that because I was going to the gym, I could eat like this, because in my mind, this burned hundreds and hundreds of calories, thousands of calories even, and it was just nonsense. So exercising alone, if exercise can help someone lose weight, help them maintain their weight, and help them gain weight, how's it just going to help you lose weight? Like I've said previously, your weight is 95% diet, 95%. And you can have the argument and say, yeah, but if I exercise and my calorie burn will be higher and then I'll be able to lose weight. And yes, that's a part of it, but it's all relative. You know, people, you don't need to exercise to lose weight. Like if I didn't exercise, my calorie burn would be about 2,100 per day on average. If I stuck to 1,500 calories, I would lose around a pound a week. But between lifting weights a few times a week, walking the dog every morning, my calorie burn is around 2,425 each day. So if I stick to 1,500 calories, I would lose 2 pounds a week. So it's all relative. And the thing is, yes, if you exercise, you could lose fat on higher calories, but if you're exercising, your hunger levels are probably going to be higher. So you're going to need those extra calories. They're not bonus calories. Like, let's say you're not exercising and your calorie burn's 2,000 calories a day and you're having 1,500 a day and you're losing a pound a week. And you get it into your head that, well, do you know what? If I start going to the gym 3 times a week and I lift weights 3 times and I burn an extra 150 calories a time, so what's that? 150, 300, 450 across 7 days. That's a terrible example. Let's say you start going to classes, right? So you start going to 3 spin classes a week, and that takes your calorie burn on average up to 2,200 a day. And you go, awesome, I'll just keep eating 1,500. And now I'm burning an extra 200 a day. I'm going to lose 1.5 pounds a week instead of just £1. But what you don't realize is that on the days where you go to your spin class, you're starving later or you're starving the next day. And you can't stick to those 1,500 calories. You need to go up to 1,700 or 1,800. And now the bonus that you're getting from exercise, you're actually having to to eat away because you're more hungry because of your activity level. So it's all swings and roundabouts, and this is why it all comes back to your diet. Exercise is not a weight management tool. I see exercise backfire as a weight management tool all the time, especially in runners. There are so many people who run to try and compensate for their disordered eating. And they think they're super healthy. Like, it's almost as if they use the running to try and counteract what they know about their eating habits. So they'll book half marathons and marathons, and they'll do training and they'll follow training programs, and they feel good when they're doing it because they can control that while their eating remains out of control. But it's all right because nothing's really happening to their weight, because all the training that they're doing, these long run days, they can go and eat mega on those days. But what happens when they're not training for a half marathon or a marathon and the training tapers off? Their weight starts to go up because they're eating, their activity level temporarily exceeded their disordered eating habits, and it kind of kept them. I mean, it's the wrong way to use it. It keeps their weight under control. It doesn't keep the habits under control, but it compensates for them, right? It means that they don't have as much of a negative impact. But take away the activity, what's the person left with? And I see it all the time, especially in people who injure themselves. They'll go over in an ankle, they'll tear something, they'll break something, they'll strain something. They're told not to run for 6, 8, 12 weeks, and they go into panic mode. Oh my God, what's going to, and their eating habits don't change. They've still got all this disordered eating going on, only now they don't have exercise to cover up anymore. They don't have exercise to hide it. They don't have exercise to use up all those extra calories that they're eating. And now it's getting added to their body as body fat. So anyway, point is, this is going to be a very short episode. Exercise alone will not lead to fat loss. It will in some people, yes. Like, God, there could be someone who is like teetering right on the edge, right? They're not overweight. They've maybe only got 5 or 10 pounds to lose. They have relatively good eating habits, relatively well-balanced diet, and they take up couch to 5K. And the first few weeks are quite gentle, not really seeing the scales come down. But as it builds up and it builds up, like, their eating habits don't change. They've still got their great eating habits, only now their calorie burn's getting a bit higher, and they see their weight start to come down. Those are the kind of people who would see their weight come down with one change, just taking up exercise. And it's because they were already very well balanced. Like, they were already in a great place, great relationship with food, no excessive habits. They're not yo-yo dieting. And the exercise, those extra calories burned from exercise, were the tipping point. Instead of being someone who maintains their weight, the exercise has now it's nudged their calories up enough for them to start to see their weight coming down by around 0.5 pound per week, and they're changing nothing other than the exercise. So yes, there is absolutely a very small demographic of people who will exercise and lose weight while changing nothing else. But for the vast, vast majority of people, exercise is not going to solve all your problems. It is certainly not going to solve your weight for any length of time. And the thing is, if you ever fall out of love with exercise, or something happens that you fall away from it, and you're still left with the eating habits that you didn't address, any weight that you did lose is just going to come back again. Your weight is 95% diet. But then there's also another caveat to that, where your diet is probably 90% mindset. So it's not just all down to the foods that we eat, it's down to how we think, act, and feel around the foods we eat as well. But yeah, stop exercising for your weight. Do it for all the other benefits. Do it for your physical health, your mental health, getting out in the fresh air, getting out in the sunshine, your social health, if you're going to groups and classes, or partnering up with people, if you're going to running clubs, like whatever it is. Just remove your weight from the equation when it comes to exercise. Remove your weight from it and focus on all the other benefits. Because the thing is, I didn't say this before when I spoke about this. When you do things for your weight, those things are only important for as long as your weight's important to you. And how often, how much does your weight come and go is important. you wake up on a Sunday morning and go, that's fucking it. Tomorrow the diet starts. I've had enough. I don't want to be like this anymore. You get yourself all hyped up and it's like, right, tomorrow diet starts, exercise starts. I'm going back to couch to 5K, back to the gym, back to the classes, whatever it is. Within 3 weeks' time, you've lost that way that you felt that Sunday 3 weeks ago. That's gone. That was there and then. And yes, it helped you get started, but now your weight's not as important. And now, because your weight's not as important, the exercise becomes less important. The diet becomes less important. So this is why it is so, sorry for swearing, but it makes me very passionate, right? It's why it's so fucking incredibly important not to change your eating habits for your weight, not to exercise for your weight. Because your interest, the importance, the value that you place on your weight can come and go at the drop of a hat. One day it's the most important thing in the world. The other day you don't give a fuck. And on the days that you stop caring, that's the days that you stop doing everything else attached to it. So do not ruin exercise or having a well-balanced, healthy diet that supports so much more than just your weight. By attaching it to your weight, right? If you, and this is why inside the Monroe Method on days 2 and 3, we do so much work on the future, so much work on high value goals, where it's okay, yes, you want to lose weight, but let's not make this about your weight. What else is important to you? What do you want life to look like in the future? What would future you be grateful for? What do you see life being like in your 40s, 50s, and 60s? Do you see yourself yo-yo dieting all your way through them? Do you want to be doing that? Let's find some real, proper, high-value reasons for taking care of your diet that aren't related to your weight. We just want your weight coming down to be a happy side effect. We want it just to be a bonus. While you're working towards something else, creating a better life, improving your quality of life, improving your mobility, whatever it is that you're doing, the fact that your weight's coming down is just a happy side effect of that. That's the point we want to get to, because the importance that you place in your weight comes and goes throughout the year. There'll be times when it's the most important thing in the world, and there'll be times where you do not care. And that's why you yo-yo diet so much. It's why your weight goes up and down so much. And it's because you attach things to your weight. Weight goes up, time to go on a diet. Weight goes down, time to stop caring. Anyway, enough from me. Oh, do you know what? Let's drop this in here. If you haven't yet, could you give this podcast a 5-star rating? Shamelessly asking for the full 5 stars, only because everybody else is giving it 5 stars. Wherever you are, wherever you're watching it, or wherever you're listening to it, just go back. Like Spotify, there's a little 5-star thing. That's where I look at it the most. I know it's on lots of other places, but yeah, if you could just drop a little thing on it. I don't know what it does. I don't know if it pushes me up any charts. I don't know if it pushes the podcast in front of other people, but it'll take you 2 seconds. It's a nothing throwaway thing. Hundreds of you listen to these episodes every week. Let's see if it does anything. Thank you. Until next time.